So welcome everybody. My name is Sammy. I am the Events and Education Coordinator at Goosefoot. So what that means is I teach all of our classes, I run all of our events when there are events, and I run all of our social media. We actually have 5 different profiles right now. It's soon to be 4. We have a Facebook and an Instagram for both the Bayview Corner and Goosefoot itself. And then we also have some for the front room gallery, but unfortunately that's going to be closing soon. Um, I have been on Facebook for pretty much as long as it's been open to the public. I've been helping businesses with it for at least 8 years now. I I have learned a lot along the way, but things are constantly shifting. So I'm going to admit off the top that I am not the expert. Hopefully, I will be able to impart some tips and tricks that are useful for you today. But if any of you guys have tips for each other, uh, please feel free to go ahead and pop it in the chat. It's default. If you open up the chat window, it's default set to end your messages just to the panelists, which is me. But if you toggle that to all panelists and attendees, that way you can talk to everybody. And that way you can share tips and tricks as I'm talking, and you don't have to worry about how you sound when this gets recorded and put up on YouTube. We have been teaching these classes online since last April, and we have, thankfully, I enjoy this aspect of technology. I've been able to record it and we can upload it to YouTube so that people can watch it at any time. That's great for you guys that have just now found out about our classes and are like, wait, I want to learn, more of the stuff you've already taught. That's all up on YouTube. In fact, Facebook Advanced is also already on YouTube. But as you'll see as we go through this, a lot of stuff has changed or is changing very quickly. So I'm actually going to upload this one as well. So that's why I've got you guys muted and no camera. You don't just have to worry about what I look and sound like. But again, if you guys want to ask questions, share thoughts, go ahead and pop those in chat or Q&A at any time. I'm pretty good. I've got another monitor right here. That's why I keep looking that way. I'm pretty good at interacting with you guys. This is a workshop, not a lecture. So what that means is I'm not here to just talk at you the entire time. Absolutely chime in the chat at any point in time. Anytime you guys have questions or clarifications or your own thoughts. I am connected to the internet, so I'm happy to pull up Facebook itself. You guys are also welcome to unmute yourself if you'd like. Just be aware that I am recording this. So you will end up on YouTube if you do unmute yourself. So we'll go ahead and get started. Again, please feel free to stop me and ask questions at any time. So just some general tips in case you didn't make it to our Intro to Facebook class a couple weeks or last month. The biggest thing with all online presences, but especially Facebook, is that you need to figure out what sets you apart from the competition and play off that. So what I mean is there's not really anybody in chat today that you are the only person who does that thing. There are other places to visit. There are other metal shops. There's other healing services. There are other places to go. But people come to you for a reason, whether that's something really unique about what you offer or your personality or the quality of your goods. Whatever it is that makes you unique, there's a reason people come to you and not your competition. So instead of trying to be like everybody else online, make sure that you kind of lean into those unique aspects of yourself and really, speak out for yourself online. Make sure you have a plan and a goal. I have talked to so many businesses that say, yeah, I have all these social media profiles, but I don't feel like I'm getting anything out of it. Like it's not going anywhere for me. It's not doing anything for me. And I ask them, well, what do you want it to do for you? And they don't really know. They just want more business. But that's a really nebulous concept. So you need to have a nice, strong plan about what it is. What do you want out of social media? Is it to build a better relationship with your customers? Is it better brand name recognition? Is it more awareness? What is that plan? And then how do you actually reach that goal? What are the actual actionable steps you can take? Do you need to post more regularly? Do you need to have a good schedule that people can rely on? Do you need to share more of the little known details that people don't know? How often are you going to post? What kind of stuff are you going to post? This doesn't have to be a really in-depth plan. It can be really loose. If you're interested, Beth Woolley from BW, BW Relations, and I taught a class together last fall that was content calendars, and that is planning out what you're going to be putting out to the world. And that is actually available on, again, the Goosefoot YouTube channel that you can access at any time. But as a summary, I have a few clients I run social media for, and I have a very basic plan for them. Some clients I have it as loose as I have a monthly theme, and I will pick 3 posts a month from that theme to talk about, such as art or food or nature, anything like that. Goosefoot's social media plan, if you follow us on Goosefoot, I have one for Goosefoot and Bayview. Goosefoot, I post every single day, once a day. Bayview, I post 5 times a week. And they're really loose posts like art shows and history and businesses. Like, because then when I get to Thursday, I at least have a guidance of like, oh, it's Thursday. I need to post about history, but I have the creativity still to go any direction with that I want to. So you can have a really strict goal where you're like, I'm talking about this thing on this day, or it can be a really loose plan of, I'm going to talk about these things in this time period. And here's my loose prompt. But when you have a goal, you know where you want to go with the social media, you know what you want to get out of it. And then you have a loose plan of what steps are actually going to take to get there. You're going to feel a lot better about the time you're putting into social media rather than feeling like you're just wasting all of your time and just spinning your wheels. The biggest thing with social media is to help, don't sell. People do not go online to be sold at. I guarantee even you guys have noticed this of how annoyed you get about how many ads that come at your every time you're online. It gets really annoying and nobody likes it. So don't be one of those. It is okay occasionally to talk about a new product you have or a sale you have going on or a new service, but every single post shouldn't be about that. Posts should be something that is useful for your viewers that are following you on Facebook. You know, it should be entertainment, it should be education, it should teach them how to use what you have in a unique way or something that they didn't know about what you do. Think about why you go online, why your typical customers are online, and make sure you're providing that to them. That way they want to stick around, they want to check out your page, and they want to be involved with you. Make sure, this is the biggest one, you are responsive to messages, comments, reviews, and customer posts. The first word in social media, this sounds cheesy, but it's true. The first word is social. If you're just shouting into a void, you're not really going to get anywhere with anyone. They're going to feel lost. They're going to feel like you're talking past them or that you're just selling to them. And again, nobody likes that. People like to feel part of something. They like to feel part of a group, especially with small businesses. They're kind of your tribe. They're excited about what you do. They're excited about the products you offer. They want to help. They want to feel like they're helping you do it. They want to feel like they found the best thing in town and they can't wait to tell all their friends about it. So when somebody takes time out of their busy day, and we're all absurdly busy all the time. We have so much to do. We have so many things to look at, especially with a lot of us working from home. It just feels like work never ends. We're always on all the time. It takes time to reply to your post. It takes time to send you a message or to tag you in a post on their own page. Reward that. Thank them for it. Make sure you respond to them. Because then you'll get more of it from them and others as well, because they'll feel like you value them as a person rather than just numbers on your page. This isn't to say you have to be on your social media all the time. In fact, I highly discourage it. You really need to have a separation of work and life or you're going to burn out. But you need to have set hours. I would really try to respond to all messages within 24 hours. Anything more than that, and people either forget what they said or they kind of lose patience. Um, and, during your business hours, when your business is open, that is when you should be available online as well. If you're really just in a position where it's like, look, I can't be. I know some of you guys work on appointment. So your days are packed and you're with customers in person. And you're like, I don't really want to spend time on social media. That's fine. We'll go through later. There are ways to set up auto responses, at least in Messenger, where you can prompt people to contact you in ways you would prefer. But make sure you're paying attention to your Facebook. You're responding to comments. You're at least liking them at the very least, but you're rewarding people for being social with you so that you can get more of that behavior. Because that also tells Facebook, hey, this is worthwhile and you should show it to more people. Next point seems really obvious, but followers are people too. And a lot of businesses forget that. Um, they go chasing the numbers of like, oh, I only have 100 fans. I only have 75 fans. I need more numbers, don't I? I need a higher follower count. I need more people to like it and share it and whatever. The numbers do not matter as much as the engagement you're getting. If I could go out and buy you 10,000 followers today, there are services that you can buy followers. It's not good for your page because most of those are bots. They're computer programs that aren't legitimate. And if you have a really high follower count and very few of those people actually engage with you, they're actually liking the content, leaving comments, sharing it with their friends. If people aren't doing that, that tells Facebook either your page is a spam, it's a scam fake page, or it's just not interesting and it will stop showing it to people, even those people who were engaging with it. And Facebook's organic reach for business pages is already so low right now. You don't want to give them reason to give you even less people to your page. And yeah, that's true. Even if somebody has liked your page, that does not mean Facebook is definitely going to show them the content. They had to have interacted with it, liked it, commented, shared posts, clicked on the link. And if they haven't done that in a while, if they've just scrolled past your post on their main feed, Facebook will just stop showing it to them. And it doesn't tell them that it does that. So it is way more important to build meaningful connections with people and provide them stuff that they want than to post constantly and get lots of numbers. Facebook takes time, consistency, and work. I work with a lot of businesses who will say something like, well, I've had this page for a few weeks or like a month or so, and I'm not getting anything out of it. Why? What am I doing wrong? It takes way longer than that to let people know that you're around, that you reliably post good content that they want to see. And it takes time for you to get used to the system, to get comfortable, to find your voice on how you want to talk to people. And so you need to give yourself that time. A lot of people think they have to be on social media, but they also don't want to devote any time to it. And so it's just sort of this last minute thing they do when they feel guilty that they haven't done it in a while, or they realize that they forgot about it. But I'll tell you this right now, for my personal business outside of Goosefoot, I hate billing. I hate it so much. I will straight up not collect money from clients because I just don't feel like doing the effort of doing the invoicing and sending it to them. I just don't want to do it. And so then I end up falling really far behind. And there's some clients I've not billed for way too long. But it's a thing I have to do. I have to bill people in order to get paid, in order for my business to survive. Social media is the same way. You may not want to do it, but you need to do it in order to build better relationships with people, in order to get some sort of payout with. If you never put anything into Facebook, it's never going to work for you. So just like billing, just like all the office work, just like the chores you hate doing about your business, you need to make sure you dedicate time to do it anyway so that you can keep up on it, you can get better at it, and you can build a better presence with it. Don't be afraid to request reviews. It is absolutely in Facebook's terms of service. You are allowed to ask people to go on Facebook and leave a review of your business. And they do that by going to your page, and always near the top for their view, not for yours, because you're the business owner, but for them, there will be a set of stars for people, and we say reviews. And if people click on that, it'll take them to a page where they could leave their own review. You can also go ahead and get that link. There's a lot of places online to find that. If anybody needs help, feel free to email me and I'll guide you through it. But send people that link. Ask them, hey, it would really help me if you would leave a review on Facebook. Because the thing is, we don't trust other businesses. Just as a human species, we know businesses want something from us. And so we don't necessarily trust them, but we trust other people. You trust your friend to say, hey, I found this really incredible restaurant. You trust your neighbor down the street to say, hey, this shop just opened downtown and it's super cute. You have to go. You trust less the business saying, hey, I'm a super cute shop. You have to come. People will stand in a shop and they will pull up their phone and look up a product in order to read the reviews before they buy it when they're in the store looking at it. So reviews are really important in today's economy, and way too few small businesses, especially locally, have many, if any, reviews. So don't be afraid to ask people to do it. You can do it in person. You can include it on the bottom of the receipts you give out. If you send out any emails, send it in that. Most people, if they don't feel like it, they just won't. But most people want to talk about this cool thing they found, that, this business that they really like. They want to sing your praises. That's why they came to you for your business. So don't be afraid to ask them for it, because most people just forget. Like, oh yeah, that's a thing I could do. I forgot. So don't be afraid to remind them. Facebook absolutely allows it and encourages it in their terms of service. And same thing with Google, by the way. Last point on the general tips before we get into more specifics. Facebook is unfortunately a pay to play kind of atmosphere, especially lately. Since about 2018, organic reach, that means your posts getting out to people just from you posting it without doing anything special. Organic reach has dropped to about 1.8%. It's really low right now, guys. So what that means is if you have, 1,000 followers, maybe 18 of them will see the post normally. That doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's just Facebook's ethos. Right now, they are prioritizing content from friends and family. Even if somebody has liked your page, Facebook is just more inclined to maybe not even show it to them. So what this means is, in order to get traction, either as a new page, or if you have a page and you feel like you're not getting very much attention lately, or you have something really important that you definitely want people to say, the Facebook environment is pretty much set up where it's pretty vital to buy ads. Now, the one good thing about Facebook over other ad systems is it's actually really cheap. You can run an ad for as little as $1 a day. They usually recommend $5 or more. So, you can only spend $5 and run a 3-day ad, and you will get markedly more attention on your page in general and that page in specific. So it's not a ton of money, but unfortunately, you just can't get the reach as much with completely free posts as you used to be able to. So if you're feeling frustrated and like you're not going anywhere with your Facebook page, it might be because they're kind of pushing businesses to pay to play. So that is an option. But we'll go ahead and keep going. Again, if you guys have questions at any time, please feel free to ask them. I know this stuff can be really overwhelming. And I know I apologize for that. So after this workshop, I will be sending you these slides. And again, we will be recording it and putting it up on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it again at any time. So first up on the advanced side is templates. So this class, again, is assuming you have a business page already set up. If you don't, I won't be offended if you leave this class and go watch the intro to Facebook instead. But assuming you have a business page, your page is set up as a template. They do this default as you're setting up the page. So a lot of you may have never even seen this, but your template is dictated by the type of business you are, and it provides different tabs and functions on the page for the users depending on what your page type is. So they have about 10 different ones, but the major ones they offer is just general business page. They have a nonprofits page, one for politicians, restaurants and cafes, services, shopping, a standard page, and venues. So, for example, what a nonprofit page will have that a business page does not is nonprofit pages allow for donations. Restaurants and cafes have a section where you can upload your menu right on the site. Services, you can put what services you offer and what prices they are. You might, depending on what systems you use, you might even be able to book appointments directly on Facebook as well. Businesses are the only one in this list, I think. Well, businesses shopping that allow you to sell products directly on Facebook. So you can see there's different pros to each one depending on what you do. And you can also rearrange those tabs. So what I mean by tabs is, we'll go ahead and pull Facebook up here. So we'll go to Sun Blue, a one I don't own. Their first tab is always home, but their second one is reviews, so that you can read other people's reviews or you can leave your own. Then they have photos, videos, and then everything else is kind of hidden under a more. People don't come to this as often. Whereas if I go to a page I do own, we'll go to Goosefoots because I know they don't mind. Again, ours defaults to about first, and then events because those are really important to us, and then photos. And then we have all of these other tabs that you saw weren't on the Salon Blue one, but again, they're kind of hidden under here. So if I go on this very sidebar, I'm over on the left-hand side of the screen, and I'm going to scroll down to settings, which is the very last one. There's a lot of stuff in here, and we'll come back to this on a subsequent one. But this fourth option here is templates and tabs. So this is what I'm talking about. Again, Goosefoot's template is a nonprofit because that is what we are. But if you hit edit, you can see here's all of these other ones you could switch to very easily. So like I said, the home is always going to be the first tab. You can't really edit that. But if I thought about wasn't as important, and I had groups that were connected to my page that I thought were way more important for people to see, I could grab that and drag it up to the top so that it would be higher up on the list and it wouldn't be hidden in that drop down more menu. More people would be able to see it. Same thing with reviews. If you want more reviews or you want people to look at the reviews you have, you can move that up way higher. I'm going to turn the jobs tab off because we don't have jobs. Same with offers. I don't have any offers open. And so you can see there's these little toggle icons that'll turn them on or off. So you can see shop is off because I don't have a shop on the Goosefoot page. We're a nonprofit. And you can reorder these at any time you want right here in this templates and tabs. And then there are some that will show up only in certain templates versus others. So feel free to play around with this if you want more things to be more important and more visible for people. Again, if I go back to Goosefoot's page, this is what people see first. So these top 3 ones are the ones I want to be the most important ones. So make sure you have the template that is the most helpful for you, and you have the tabs in the order you want them to be. So fully explore your settings. This is where I'm going to actually go back and look at those settings. But a lot of people set up their pages and then call it good and never come back to this section. But there are so many settings on Facebook that can really help optimize your page and make it a lot easier for you. So again, I'm going to go back to Goosefoot settings. It's down at the bottom of this tab here. So we're going to go to settings. General are pretty self-explanatory. Everybody's page should be visible because you are an active business. But if you're ever working on something that's not released yet, maybe a business in progress, and you don't want people to know about it, there is a draft version. You can change that too. Visitor posts, this lets people publish to your page or only let you publish to your page. That's totally in control of you. Do you want people to do you want to let people share your posts, or do you want to keep them contained to your page? I don't know why you would turn sharing off, but maybe you have some privacy issues with your business. I don't know. Um, you can control what your audience looks like. There's not a ton of control here. Pretty much the only time I ever use audience optimization is when I have clients that are like a winery, or something alcohol based, because obviously your audience is 21 and up. So those are kinds of things. Maybe some adult shops might want to restrict to 18 and up because you don't want some 14-year-old getting your content on their feed. That's what that's for. But pretty much everybody in this chat here, I don't think that's really vital for you. Messages, you can turn this on or off, let people message your page privately. You can let people tag you in photos, or tag the page in posts. You could restrict it to certain countries, ages. You can page moderate, so you can block certain words. If you are really against any foul language, or if people keep bringing up a subject that you're not okay with, you can block certain words from being used on your page. So that is right there under page moderation. Profanity filter just filters off all profanity without you having to individually list all the versions. You can turn on or off similar page suggestions. So when somebody likes a page that is kind of like yours, Facebook automatically says, hey, maybe you would like this page as well. If you turn off that, it'll not show your page to other people. Again, I don't know why you would want to do that. You can make sure when you're updating your milestones, reviews, things like that, so that stuff is happening. You can do multiple languages if that is something that is vital to your business. You can translate posts automatically. Comment ranking. So if you've seen any posts recently in the last year or so on Facebook, it'll only show relevant posts or comments. It'll tend to hide things that are just somebody tagging somebody or saying not really anything. If you don't want it to do that, you can turn that off and it'll just show all the comments. You can download all of your Facebook content if you're ever worried about backing anything up or maybe losing something. So that's the download stuff. You can merge pages if you accidentally set up 2 pages for a business or you acquire another business, whatever. This merge pages pushes them into one page, basically pushes all the content onto one. Or if you ever get to a point where you're done with it, you're done with Facebook or you're done with your business, you can delete your page entirely. So those are the general settings. I actually spend a lot more in other stuff. Messaging, there's some really cool stuff in here. So Facebook has really been pushing Messenger for the last couple of years. Anytime somebody goes to your page, a Messenger window automatically pops up and prompts them to type something. So here's some settings on how you can control that. The return key, just so if anybody hits enter, it'll automatically send the message, or you can turn that off if you want to be able to do multi-line text. You can set up specific greetings. So before they ever send a message, as soon as that window pops up for Messenger, it can automatically say something of like, hey, thanks for your interest in us. For faster return, please call us or email us. Anything like that, or just, hey, how can we help you? Whatever you want, you can customize what it says to people when they first open that Messenger window. There's your Messenger link. You can add Messenger to your website if you really like the feature, you like having it mobile on your phone. You can go ahead and have it on your website as well. So you can use that as a feature to contact people, whether they're on Facebook or online. And then you can also do automated responses, which is really nice. I really like that. There's a few different ways on automated responses. One, you can just have it default set up to automate responses for if they use certain keywords or phrases, or again, if you're not really one to check Messenger, you can tell people, hey, I'd rather you call me or email me instead. But you can also set up the automated responses for certain times of day. So you could have the automated response set up only between, 6 p.m. and 9 a.m. when you're not open and you're not going to be checking your business. You can tell people, thanks for reaching out. Our hours are these hours. We will be in touch with you between that window. That alleviates the stress on you of constantly having to be online and connected all the time. And it can make people feel like they're responded to and listened to without you having to burn yourself out to give them that. And then if you have an organization where lots of people are running your social media and you want to be transparent, you can turn it on so it'll tell them who is responding to them on your page, but they also get control of it. So it won't say their full name unless they type in their full name. So if somebody messages, if I had this turned on and somebody messaged the Goosefoot page, it would say whatever I typed and then, from Sammy P, whatever I set it up as. So that's really nice if you have lots of people in your organization or running your page for you. So the message tools alone, I think, are really cool. I really like them and I wish more people would use them. Page info, I talked about this more in the intro class, but please fill out all your about information. This is how people find you, but this is also how search engines index you. Tell people what your business is. This description has to be really short because it's that like 1 or 2 sentences that's at the top of the screen. But you can set up categories. You can set up information, phone numbers, emails, websites, and you can say you don't have them if you don't have them. Addresses, and you can put multiple addresses if you have those for whatever reason. You can set a certain service area if you're like a delivery business or you only go out to certain places. You can set up hours of when you're open so that people can see that without having to contact you constantly. There's temporary service changes as well. These are really good for holidays, but they're also great for COVID. Things are finally starting to open up and normalize now, but they really added the temporarily closed once COVID hit because a lot of businesses couldn't find a way to stay open and they just had to shut down entirely, but not permanently, just for a little while. So this is really great to help you manage both for holidays, for special occasions, or if a health emergency comes up. And then you can put in privacy policies. You can put in a longer description. You can talk about the products and services you offer. You can get a QR code specifically to your Facebook page if you want to put up a poster in your business so people can find it easier. Do you offer Wi-Fi in your business? Especially if you're like a cafe or a restaurant or something, people will come to your business specifically because you offer Wi-Fi. So if you offer Wi-Fi, even if it's paid, let people know that. Fill out all of these that you can. I'm actually going to switch this to not applicable because we're a nonprofit and we don't have a price range. And then you can add you can Instagram, you can add other social media. So Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube. I should add our YouTube, Twitch, WhatsApp, Line, WeChat, Kik. So some of these you're going to be familiar with. A lot of these you're never going to have heard of. Just go ahead and add the ones you are aware of, and then people can find you all over the internet. It's great. So I went through the templates and tabs already. Event ticketing is really nice. If you have an Eventbrite site, it doesn't let you use this specific feature for any other way to sell tickets. But if you have an Eventbrite account, you can connect it to Facebook, and then people don't have to leave Facebook in order to buy the ticket. And that actually has a higher conversion rate. Like people are more likely to carry through with it when they don't have to go to a whole different site. So if you have Eventbrite, you can connect it to your Facebook. You can tell Facebook how to let you know about messages. So you can get just notifications on your computer when you log in. That's what all of these are for. You can get notifications by email, or you can, if you really wanted to, you could get text messages every time there's something that happened on your Facebook page. That sounds really stressful to me, but whatever works for you. I have different settings. Is that because of the page type? It could be because of the page type. It also could be Facebook is constantly adding features and taking stuff away. So we might be on different versions of Facebook, and there's really nothing you can do about it. If there's a really vital setting you want to play with and it's not showing up in this list, feel free to email me and I'll help you one-on-one with it. But if it's just kind of something that you're like, hey, that's on yours and not on mine, it might be because I'm on a different page type. So get notifications for your business however you need. I also have this setting called advanced settings or advanced messaging. So this is basically just allowing other programs to tie into my site. As you can see, I use Buffer, which is a scheduling tool. I'll talk about later. If you use a different tool that ties in well to Messenger, you can whitelist third-party domains so that they're accessible. There's interesting things in advanced messaging that I don't really toy with, but if you need a little bit more and you're not getting it, you might want to poke around these settings. Facebook badges are just kind of a silly way to encourage interaction. Facebook has introduced this recently. They'll pick a few random top fans based on how people have liked pages and responded to content. It kind of automatically assigns it to people. You can turn it's default turned on, but if you don't want to do anything like this, you can turn it off. You are allowed. And you can also remove specific badges if you don't want them. I think most pages just have the top fan badges. I've really only seen other badges on streamer, like people who do live video on Facebook. Page roles is really helpful, again, if you have multiple people working for your business or helping you with social media. These are the roles that allow people to do things. So when you add a new person to your page, it defaults to editor. Editors can publish content on the page. They can see Messenger. They can respond to and delete comments. They can do ads, but they can't change a lot of the settings. They can't delete your page, which is great. If it's not, if it's like an intern or an employee and not the owner. There's admin, which has the top control. You can do everything on the site. Moderators can only send messages, create ads, and fuss with the comments. They can't make a new post or delete posts or anything like that. Advertisers can only do ads. This is great if you're working with an ad company. Analysts can only see the comments and the insights, which is going away soon. We'll talk about that in a bit. Or you can set custom permissions depending on what you want somebody to be able to do. So say you want somebody to run ads and make posts, but you don't want them to see your insight data. You can set that up in the business manager as well. So set that up as you need rather than just giving people carte blanche permission to do whatever they want. And then you can see, who's on the page roll right now. It's interesting that I'm set up as the admin. There used to be other business people in our organization that were on here. I'm not sure where they went. Diversity info is a new thing. Again, this you can just tell Facebook, like, I'm a women-owned business. I am, if there's a racial minority or anything like that, you can go ahead and add that. Like I said, it's a new feature. I'm not sure exactly how they're using it. You can see people who like your page. So if you've ever wondered, why can't I know who likes my page? I just see the number. It's under your settings, under people who like this page. So you can find them. You can find people who follow the page. You can find pages that like the page, and you can find people that you banned. Preferred paid audience is gone. Again, it's up in that general settings I showed you earlier. Again, in the last 6 months or a year or so, with all of, Facebook getting hauled in to talk to Congress multiple times, they have put restrictions on certain ads for housing, for healthcare, and politics. So if you're in like any of those categories, human services, stuff like that, you might end up getting restricted. And this is where you can explain yourself of like, what your organization is about, and you can get authorized to run ads in certain areas. So if you are in any of those restricted categories, make sure you fill out that section so that you don't get unnecessarily blocked. Sorry, I have been talking for 45 minutes. My mouth is a little dry. Ad limits just shows you where, how many ads you're allowed. I'm allowed 250 ads running simultaneously. That's a lot. I would never run that many simultaneously. You can also see where you're limited to running ads. Please go back to my Facebook page. Oh no. No, go back. um, Branded content is not necessarily something most of you would have to deal with. I think Linda is the only one I know off the top of my head that might have to worry about this. Basically, if somebody is sponsoring the content you are posting about, you need to legally disclose that. Linda, you might be freaking out about that. Don't worry. I help Linda with a lot of her social media. I handle that. I always list, it's sponsored by whoever, and it's very clearly disclosed. But this is also important to know if you ever sponsor somebody else to say something about your business. So if you have a blogger talking about your business, you've given away free goods to somebody in order for them to talk about it on their videos or blog about it. And they make a social media post about it. If you work with any kind of influencers, they legally have to disclose that this is a branded partnership. Even if they say bad things about you, because they are legally allowed to do that, you have to let them know by FCC, I think, FTC, one of the two. You have to let people know that, and that's what that branded content tab is for. What about a privacy policy? Is there a stock one? Where should it go? There's not necessarily a stock privacy policy for America. Europe has it. You'll hear about this a lot because they've just implemented it in the last year or two, where you have to disclose, whether or not you share people's information with anybody else, what you're going to use it for, all of that kind of stuff. There's not a default one for America, but you can find a lot online. You can just kind of search for it. Just something like Facebook privacy policy. Well, if you search for Facebook privacy policy, you will get Facebook's privacy policy. But if you look for small business privacy policy, you'll get stuff like that. Whereas where it should go, that goes in page info. Again, it was down near the bottom here, privacy policy. You don't actually paste it here. You actually have it on your website somewhere, and then you can link to it. So as an example, I did one for Prima Bistro because their bank legally required them to do it. So theirs is under COVID-19 policies. We took it off because we're not selling anything on our website anymore. But there was a whole policy down here of we will not sell your information to anybody. We only use it for internal marketing, that kind of stuff. Okay, cross post. Oh, wait. Jumping a little bit here, you can connect your Facebook to your Instagram. This is really nice because this is how you get a business Instagram account, which we talked about in Intro to Instagram. But it also lets you run ads simultaneously on both platforms. It lets you handle messages and comments from both platforms in Facebook. And we'll talk about this later, but there's an upcoming feature of Facebook so that you are going to be able to make Instagram posts from your Facebook account. That's going to make everybody's life a lot easier instead of having to jump between the two. So make sure you connect your Instagram account to your Facebook account if you have both. Unfortunately, you can't connect anything else like this in this way because Facebook only owns Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp. They don't own Twitter or YouTube or any of these other ones. Featured likes are really great. This is letting people know, hey, if you like me, these are the pages I like the best, so you should go pay attention to them too. So our featured likes on Goosefoot's page is the Bayview Community Hall because they are our next door neighbors and we're really big fans of them. The Goose Grocer because we own them and we want everybody to go love the goose. Would be TV because they're really good partners with us. Would be Telecom in general is. And then our last one right now is David Stern because he does a lot of really great photography for us. You can set this up to whatever you want. Again, for example, I think on the Coopville Chamber site, I have the library, the farmers market, and there's some other ones in there I've forgotten. But those are, in my opinion, if anybody is coming to look at the chamber, those are also things they should be interested in. So your neighbors, other businesses that you recommend, anything you think people who come to your site should also be interested in, you can go ahead and add those as your featured like. I think you can have up to 5. Cross-posting lets you post on each other's pages. So if you do a collaboration with another business, that's a great place to do it. Pam, if you guys ever do a metal work and you work with a fiber artist to also, do something fiber on it. You guys can make a video and post it on both of your accounts at the same time if you enable this cross-posting feature. Page support is just getting help from Facebook. There's a help center. It can be tricky to navigate. I hate working with Facebook, but I did successfully get help from them the other day, so it is possible. And then you can also see your management history. So, you know, what actions have been taken, who's done what. This is, again, only really helpful if you've hired somebody to do something, so you can make sure you see what they're doing. And then activity log again shows you, you know, you made a post, you talked about, so you replied to somebody mentioned you in a comment. So all the great stuff there. So that's the settings. Like Pam was saying, yours might be a little different depending on what your page is set up as, but I really implore you to explore those settings. It's something a lot of businesses just don't ever touch. And it's a pity because there's a lot of very helpful tools in there. So, oops, I went back the wrong way. Next up, we're going to talk a little bit about stories. I talked about this briefly in the intro, but I'm going to talk more about it here. Stories are Facebook's new shiny toy, not quite as new because they have been around for over a year, but it's a feature that was copied from Instagram, and Instagram copied it from Snapchat. It's basically right at the top of the feed, prime real estate content that is only up for 24 hours and then it disappears. You might think, well, why would I make posts like that? There's a few different reasons. One, it's right at the top. It's really eye-catching. Whenever somebody is on their feed, it's right there at the top. So they don't have to go scrolling to go find it. Some people get in the habit of checking stories every day. For food-related businesses, these are really helpful because you might have specials. Pretty much any businesses, honestly, you might have specials or offers that are only open for a limited amount of time. And if that limited amount of time is 24 hours or less, a story is a great place to put it because then it will disappear and you don't have to worry about Facebook's stupid algorithm showing it to somebody 3 days after the offer is expired. The difference with stories and regular posts is Facebook still kind of prefers the horizontal content, you know, pictures that are wider than they are tall, and then, you know, text. But a story, when somebody clicks on it, it is an image and it takes up the entire screen. So it needs to be vertical rather than horizontal. So keep that in mind when you're creating content to go in a story, that it should be vertical and take up the screen. Stories are great because they drive engagement. We are all constantly wrestling with this thing called FOMO, fear of missing out. We're worried that we're not going to know the latest and greatest news, that we're going to be left out of the loop, and stories kind of tap into that instinct. So they really encourage people to check it. And because it's a thing you actively have to check on rather than just kind of mindlessly scrolling your feed, you're far more likely to actually pay attention to it and act on it. So the engagement's really high and the reach is much bigger than your regular posts. So you could always put something in a story first as a preview to reward those who check your stories, and then make it a regular post 24 hours later if you wanted, or something like that. Stories also tend to be a lot rougher, a lot more kind of shot off the cuff. You're not quite worried about how quality it is because it's going to go away in 24 hours. So who cares? And because of that, it can put more of a humanized, you know, familiar face on your business because it's you as a person doing those stories rather than a corporate strategy following a goal. And again, it's quick, snappy content that you slap up and don't have to think about over and over again. So for examples on stories, you can make stories on behind the scenes content. If you're getting ready for an event, if you're packaging a big order, if you're getting a lot of supplies in, if there's something that happens in your business that's behind the scenes that's funny or interesting or people don't know about, people eat up behind the scenes stuff. Think how popular that show How It Is Made was. People like to see the sausage being made. They like to see what goes into your business, even if you think it's really boring. I guarantee you there are people who are fascinated by watching me build a website when I do it with my brain turned off because I'm doing it constantly. So whatever you think is boring about your business, somebody else is going to find fascinating. So don't be afraid to put it as a behind the scenes story. You can also do tips and short how-tos. I think they're limited to a minute or less. They might be even 25 seconds. That's what it is on Instagram. So it very short, but these nice little how-to tip of the day kind of things, something that is useful to the users that are looking at it. You can also do teaser content. So if you have tickets coming out for sale or a new product that's releasing soon, some big news that is going to come out, you can kind of put it as a teaser of like, check in tomorrow and we'll have a special announcement. Again, that taps into that fear of missing out. So people will be like, oh, what is it? You can do exclusive offers. Again, hey, did you see this? Here's the secret code word to come tell me and get this special present or discount or offer. You can also do surveys. So when you're setting it up, you can actually ask people, should I pick it in pink or purple? Or should I do it in the morning or the afternoon? Or, what should we name our new baby goat? Or whatever makes sense for your business. You can ask people quick, fun little stories, little questions, and people can click on something to actually respond to it right on their screen. And that helps keep that engagement up, and it might help you pick a really no stress answer to something. It's also, again, great for time sensitive information. So again, if you have, a lunch special of the day or something that's only available for a small amount of time, stories is a great place to put it, because then it automatically gets deleted and you don't have to remember to go in and remove it or worry about somebody seeing it days later when it's no longer relevant. So here's some stories, how they look. There's a company that called Boozer Delivery. They started a new delivery service. So they announced that in their story, and then 24 hours later, they went ahead and put it up on their page. And these lines, you can kind of variantly see them at the top. There's like a tiny gap between the lines that split it up. That is how many active slides on the story you have. So the Boozer Delivery one, it actually took multiple screenshots of the app and it showed it to it across different stories as they were up on page. Money is an article. It's a newspaper magazine. So they put out their headlines in their stories to let people know, hey, this is new stories up. And if you click on it or if you swipe, you see at the bottom, it says see more. And if you swipe that, it'll take you exactly to that story. If you put up a new product on your website, people swipe to see more, it'll take them to your website where they can buy it or book for it. You can see Pop Sugar put up a poll about the Black Panther at the Oscars. Super simple, 2-question thing, really low stakes, but it's a nice, fun little interactive thing that customers can do. And then again, if you swipe up, it'll take you to their Twitter page where they're actually live tweeting the Oscars. So again, interactive, something nice, easy, people can swipe and it takes it right to them. Blink 182 pre-announced their tour dates on Instagram story. So also Facebook. So people could find out that those tickets were coming and get the tickets before they made an actual big announcement on their page. So there's a lot of interesting creative things you could do with stories if you have the time to play with them. If you are like me and you're just constantly busy and overwhelmed and you don't have time for all of these new toys that are coming out constantly, stories is something you could comfortably leave off of your task list, because there is so much stuff to do and stories just appear in 24 hours. So don't feel too pressured about doing it if you're already feeling overwhelmed. But if you're looking for a new, fun, unique way to engage with people, maybe try playing with stories. Okay, so Messenger, again, we talked about this earlier, the settings anyway, but Messenger is a really great customer service tool because you can talk to people. So make sure you're having engaged and you're actually responding to it. Facebook does not actually always tell me when I have a message. I do actually have to go to my page and check the inbox every now and then. So make sure you're doing that so you make sure people don't get ignored. And then make sure, again, you respond or like comments, posts, and reviews. Somebody took time out of their day to engage with your business. Make sure you reward that so they'll do it some more. Encourage reviews so that people can talk about what they love about your business. And then also uh, that people can find out about your business as well. How do I find pages that I liked as my business? There is a business feed. Facebook has made it really difficult to find lately, and they might actually get rid of it, but it might be in the new business suite that they're rolling out soon. So keep an eye out for that. But overall, if you really want to follow a business, it's better to like it as a person rather than liking it as your business. And make sure you have fun when you're talking to people. People know when you're not enjoying it. People know when it's gritting teeth, pulling teeth in order to make you use the social media tools. Nobody wants to be in the corner with the sourpuss at a party. So have fun with it. Find a way to make it fun for you. And we talked about the auto responses. Okay, so before we get to ads, we're going to take just a 5-minute break. I want you guys to go get some water, go to the bathroom, maybe stand up and stretch a little bit. And if you guys have questions, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording at this time. So you can feel free to unmute yourself if you like, or you can go ahead and put them in chat. So next up, we're going to talk about ads, that thing everybody wants. Just for a bit though, don't feel too overwhelmed. I'm going to talk about this in a bit. I have a slide for it later, but I have an entire 2-hour class just on ads, really in depth. So we're just going to go really light, kind of skim over here. But ads aren't really for a hard sell, not like what you think of when you think ads. People don't go online to be sold at. I've mentioned this before. Think about how you spend your time online. You talk to people, you find things to distract yourself or amuse yourself or educate yourself. So you don't occasionally, and I have especially lately been buying some things I've gotten ads for on Facebook, but overall, you're not going on Facebook to go window shopping. So you can use it occasionally for products you are actually selling, but I really want you to think about using ads more for greater awareness, to let people know about whatever you're posting about, or to let them know that you have a page and that you exist at all. Let people know how to connect with you, why they should be paying attention to you, that sort of thing. You can draw more people to your page. That's called click through. So when you send out an ad, if people click on the business name to go see more about your business, more of your old posts, that's a really good thing that Facebook is great for, and it actually measures that. But ads can also help you reach followers that already like your page, but just aren't seeing your content anymore. So again, if your reach is really low for some reason, it might be because Facebook has just stopped showing it to people, even if they like your page. And you might want to consider boosting it, running an ad so that more people see it again. And when you run an ad, you can actually choose to run it to people who already like your page, people who like your page and their friends. So therefore, people that are similar or have something in common with people who already like you. You can run it in certain regions. There's a lot of control over the ads on Facebook. One of my favorite things about the Facebook system is that, one, it's highly intuitive. It's very easy to use and it walks you through exactly how to do it. But you can also run an ad on Facebook and Instagram at the same time. So that's a really nice system. It helps that the Facebook owns Instagram. And then when you run the ad, you can either click boost post, that's at the bottom. You can go to promote, or if you go to business.facebook.com, you can set up specific ads. Oops, I closed my participant window instead of clicking on that. There we go. So let me show you how that works. We talked about this in the intro to Facebook, so if you came to that class, I apologize in advance. But just quick overview, we're not going to spend too much time on this. You can see right here, there's a button that says promote. People who are not you do not see that button, so don't worry, that is just for you. So you can promote your entire page. As you can see, you can choose a goal. There are a lot of them. What do you actually want Facebook to do with whatever ad you're creating? You can do automated ad and let it figure it out for you and adjust it over time. You can promote it locally. You can boost a specific post or an event. You can get people to message you more frequently. You can get people, promote your entire page. You can get people to call you more frequently. I'm not sure what build your business means. I'm assuming it's get more followers. You can direct people to your website more frequently, or you can get leads. So somebody was really excited about the last Facebook class. I showed them this. You can create a lead generation form. So people click on the button and it pops up a form so they can enter their name and their email or their phone number or whatever you want. And then Facebook gives it to you. And then you have a contact list of people who voluntarily put in their information. So there's a lot of options here, and you can also boost existing content. So you can create a new post, or you can boost existing posts as well. So that's all right there from the top promote. They also put it down here on the bottom of the sidebar. There's also, for me, there's create an ad right here at the top. This may or may not be the same for you. Facebook moves stuff around up here constantly, depending on where you're at with your business and what you're up to recently. Lots of stuff it wants me to use constantly. And then also what you're probably more used to seeing is on each post, you'll see this blue boost post button. I don't want to boost the event. Here we go, boost post. You can, again, you set your goal of what you want it to be. This shows you what the post is going to look like. What do you want the button to be? Do you want to learn more? And then you can set a specific URL, book now, shop now, sign up, send message, call now, any of these. You can make it say that, so then it'll be right here at the bottom. You have to tell Facebook if it's one of the special ads. And then you can set your audience. This is what I was talking about earlier. I absolutely love it. Their audience targeting is really great. It defaults to living in the US 18 to 65, but you can get real specific with this. You can pick a specific men or women if you want. You can pick a much smaller age range if you want. You can't go older than 65 plus. It just sort of lumps everybody over the age of 65 together. You can set a location. So again, it defaults to the US, but you can do it by zip code. So if I pick the Langley zip code, boom. And it defaults to plus 25 miles. How do I reduce that again? Not sure. They've made this a little more difficult recently, and I don't like it. You can also search a broader area. So if I picked, for example, Seattle. Seattle. So they've got the market, they've got the city of Seattle, they've got neighborhood of Central Business District, Seattle Heights. So you can pick whichever one you want. We're going to pick the city of Seattle as our example. Oh, there we go. Now here's the control. So you can get it really tight up to 10 miles. You can go as wide as up to 50 miles. And as you can see, you can put in multiple locations so that it'll group them all together. So if I had Seattle and Bellingham, there would be a bit of an overlap here. And then you can, let me scroll correctly. And then you can also detailed targeting. So you can tell Facebook, I want people who are interested in eating, gift, takeout, fun, meal, local food. You can get more specific. You can also do certain things, demographics. So parents with adult children, parents with teenagers, parents with toddlers, parents with preschoolers. So there's a lot of different demographics. You can get business owners. You can get people who like travel. So people who are interested in travel, but also behavior. So frequent travelers, returned from travel a week ago. Maybe not that because there is still a pandemic on, but in the future, that could be something that's interesting. Travel consultants. So there's a lot of different demographics and interests that you could pull from depending on what you want. And then it'll tell you the audience based on what you've put in. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel. Again, like I was saying, you can set it to the ads being only people who like your page, people who like your page and their friends. So people who already like you and might have something in common with you. People in your local area is really great for if you are a location-based business. Because for example, if I picked the targeting right now of living in the 98260 zip code, I would get people who live in Langley. This is great for a lot of businesses in Langley, but it's not so great if you are a restaurant who is open for lunch, because a lot of people who live in the 98260 zip code are not here during the day. they work elsewhere. They travel off island and then they come back home in the evening. But if you pick people who are in your local area, that's going to target people who are physically in that area during the time you're running the ad. So you are with people in your local area, you're going to be reaching people who are visiting, who don't necessarily live there, but are physically in the area at the time you're running the ad, which is a great thing to do. And then you can also set up custom audiences if you want. I have a slide about that. And again, I've talked about it in previous ones, but you can set up custom audiences, which is a lot of what I showed you earlier of like, where do they live? What are their behaviors? What kind of interests do you want to target? And then you can save those. And you can see I've got these 2 saved as custom audiences, these three. So you can save them so that they are, go ahead and pull up this specific information without having to type it all out every single time you want to run an ad. You can go ahead and save that custom audience. So you can create a new one, or also if we go to business.facebook.com, you'll get your Facebook Business Manager for as long as it's running. I'll talk about this in a bit. It's going away soon. And you can go ahead and add audiences as well in here. So again, save that custom information so that you can pull it up whenever you want to. You can also create a lookalike audience. So this is based on people who already care about your business. You can do saved audiences. You can connect it to your website. And I don't know why it's not scrolling. You can base audiences. Yeah, something's broken with this because it's going away soon. You can base it on people who have visited your website, people who have taken certain actions on your website recently. If you have Facebook Pixel installed, there's a lot of cool things you can do with audiences in the ads manager that the main Facebook doesn't let you do. So again, business.facebook.com is going away sometime. It doesn't say when, but if that doesn't quite work for you, you don't have to go to business.facebook.com. You can also go to the ad center, which again is in my left-hand sidebar at all times. And same thing here. So I can control my audiences in this panel as well. If I create audience, again, here we go. This looks a lot more like the one I showed you earlier, where you can put in the name, you can name it so that you can pull it up again, and then gender, age, location, and then detailed targeting. So this is a very helpful tool if you run ads kind of regularly and you want it to be targeted towards a specific group, but you don't want to have to type it out every single time. So again, I don't want to overwhelm you guys with this. And we do actually have entire workshops on ads specifically. So if you're watching this on YouTube later, you can go ahead and click the, go ahead and check out our other videos. But also for those of you that are in here live now, I will email this to you after we're done with this workshop. And you can go ahead and click these links at any time to watch it at your own pace. Whenever you want, you can go back to it as often as you need to. You can pause it, slow it down, speed it up. I know I talk a little fast, so I don't know why you would need to speed it up, but so the first one I wanted to talk to you guys about is one specifically on ads. It's called Beyond the Boost, Crafting Effective Social Media Ads. And then there's one on content calendars. I referenced it earlier. Don't worry about writing this URL down. You can also search for it, but when I send you the slides, you can just click on these links as well. So moving on from ads, kind of, Facebook Pixel still kind of ties into this. So Facebook Pixel is a tool that lets you tie your Facebook to your website. The caveat with this, why I don't do it with all of my clients is that then you are giving Facebook all of your website data that they can then use for whatever reason. But the trade-off is you get a lot of cool tools that are enabled by doing this. So you can better track when people are going from Facebook to your website, or vice versa, when they're going from your website to Facebook. You can use that data of how people use your website, where they're coming from, and what they're doing on it to give Facebook a better picture of what kind of users on Facebook would be more interested in your page, so that it can help you target ads better. Because again, Facebook has data from all over the internet of how people use your site and where they come from and where they go. You can help it create really dynamic ads and audiences. Um, and then you can also get a lot of insight and tracking data. I tend to use things like Google ads and Google, what is it? Google Analytics. So I use Google Analytics more, but if you don't want to have like 6 different tools that you have to manage all the time, Facebook has a pretty robust analytic tool as well. And it comes from installing Facebook Pixel on your site. There are, let me see. Yeah, there's a few ways to put it on your website if you wanted it to. If you're using one of these kind of sites, BigCommerce, Google Tag Manager, Magento, Segment, Shopify, Squarespace, Wix, or WooCommerce, there are integration tools built into those tools. And then you can just pretty much get it, basically a code to plug in on the specified field. If you develop the site yourself, or if you have a web developer designer that works for you, you can send them the email instructions so that they can do it. You don't have to touch it. Or if you're savvy and you run your own website, you can also go ahead and get the code to manually install on your own. So there's a few different ways to do it depending on what your setup is. And that is a tool that is available. Again, I will be honest, I don't actually have Facebook Pixel installed on any of my sites because I don't want to give Facebook that data. And I have other tools to track the effectiveness of my site. But if you like the idea of an all-in-one place shop, so that you don't have to manage a bunch of tools and a bunch of data in a bunch of different places, and you want to have more effective ads without having to spend the time of researching and developing and altering things constantly, Facebook Pixels is absolutely an option that's out there. So catalogs, I talk about this in our selling online workshop, which we haven't done for a while, but they are up on our YouTube. But if you sell products, travel, real estate, or auto, you can sell products on Facebook, which is fantastic. A lot of you in here are more like service-based, so I don't know how useful this will be for you. But for those of you that are selling physical goods, you can sell them on Facebook. Again, the less places people have to like click through and wander off to go do something. If you just have the link in your post, they're less likely to click on it than if they can click that shop now button right on the post when it's right there front and center. In order to sell things through Facebook and later Instagram, you have to have uploaded it to your Facebook catalog. Facebook doesn't straight up tell you this. So how you get to your catalog is going to facebook.com/products/catalogs. Once you're here, you might have to set up your business if you've never been in it before. That's really easy. Just like click the button and fill out the information and connect it with the right page if you have multiple pages. But from there are a few different ways to get your products on Facebook. You can either manually upload it, so you can enter products one by one by entering, the name, the picture, the description, the price, and where they can actually buy it from. Or if you have, oops, sorry, didn't mean to knock my webcam. If you have tools like Shopify, BigCommerce, OpenCart, WooCommerce, and a few others, you can connect them. You can basically log into Facebook with them, and Facebook will go to your site and automatically pull all of your products onto Facebook so that you don't have to do it manually. So it'll pull all that data that it needs, and then you just have to make sure you approve it, and then done. Your shop tab is now populated. When you make posts about that product, you can add the link. Same thing on Instagram. You have to set up a Facebook catalog in order to sell products on Instagram. And unfortunately, it is limited to physical products, and you have to have an online selling platform. It can't be like look, I have this face cream, call me to order it. So that's not how it works, unfortunately. And with pretty much all social media, but especially on selling products online, you need to have high quality images. People like to buy things when they look at it, when they can read all of the information, when they can see it from multiple different angles. And so, because it's not in person and it's not something somebody can pick up and hold and look at and change angles and feel a touch of it, you have to provide that through pictures and a thorough description. So make sure you get good images. If you're just starting out and you're like, well, I'm limited capacity, I can only take what I can take, that's absolutely fine. But one of the first things you should prioritize to boost your business is get something to get better pictures, whether that is hiring someone to take the product photography for you or getting better equipment so that you can do it yourself. Um, Prioritizing quality images is one of the most vital things for an online presence. So just something to keep in mind. Again, if you're interested in selling online, we have entire workshops on it, both full length 2-hour class and 45-minute crash courses. So scheduling posts is one of my favorite things. I don't know about you guys, but I do not have time to be on Facebook all day, every day. I have things to do. I have other responsibilities. I cannot sit on Facebook constantly. So you can schedule posts. Facebook did make it a little trickier. I am still a little grumpy about it, but you can still schedule posts on Facebook. How you do that, I'll show you. We're going to go back to the Goosefoot Facebook page again. And again, in this nice left-hand sidebar that I keep coming back to constantly, if you scroll down a bit, there is an option right here called Publishing Tools. So if I click that, I can see all of the posts. Once it loads in, I can see all of the posts I have made recently on our Facebook page. But over here in this left-hand sidebar, you'll see now there's an option called Scheduled Posts. So I can go ahead and create posts, and I tend to do this on Fridays because I work for Goosefoot Monday through Friday. I have stuff to do on Saturday and Sunday. I don't want to be managing the social media while on my days off. So on Friday, I'll go ahead and schedule in for the weekend, for the rest of the weekend, to when to post. So again, when you click on it, new post, it'll go ahead and tell you which day you want to post on. You can pick any day up to 3 months out. And then what time. So you can set it really specific. And then this is new, and I'm really glad they've added it. You no longer have to worry about going all the way to Instagram to do something as well as on Facebook. You can actually schedule it right in Facebook. I've actually had to disconnect it for reasons and you need to get it reconnected. But if you have it connected, this option will appear here as well, and you can just click on it. You can write whatever you want, just as you normally would, and then you can add pictures or videos, or you can make a video. You can add colors if you would want to do it that way. These, fun frames that they offer up on social media. So it looks, it's off to the side, but it's all the same options you normally get when making a post. You can add call to messages. You can add specific links if you want to link people anywhere. And then you go ahead, once you're all done, you click schedule post and it'll go out at the time you wanted it to schedule. So I absolutely adore scheduling posts because, again, I don't have time. I have one client that's an arts festival, and leading up to the event, I post 3 times a day, every single day, from about beginning of June until the event in August. I don't have time to be on social media 3 times a day, every single day. So I'll go ahead and schedule them all out for the week on a Sunday when I have an hour or 2 free. And then I don't have to worry about it all the rest of the week. I just have to worry about responding to comments and likes and things like that. So that makes my life so much easier. Again, it used to be on the post itself the normal way. They did take that away, so it made it a little harder. If that doesn't work for you, if that's still confusing to manage, there are a lot of social media managers that will do it for you as well. I've got Hootsuite on here just because they've got a long-standing reputation. However, I will now warn you, Hootsuite is getting rid of their free memberships. So I don't recommend Hootsuite anymore for most small businesses because you're gonna have to pay, and Hootsuite is very expensive. Buffer is a really great tool, and it's actually the one I use for Goosefoot. So again, we'll go ahead and look at that. So again, it's just buffer.com, nice and simple. You go ahead and how you make a free Buffer account is you just get started and they give you a 30-day free trial. And then at the end of it, they ask you if you want to pay. And as long as you only have one user and 3 pages or less, you can say, no, I want to keep going for free. If you have more than that, then you do have to pay. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Goosefoot does have more than that. We have 5, so I did have to pay, which I was totally fine with, but it helps me manage things. So this is what my buffer looks like. I've got all my pages in here. And if I click, what do I want to share? I can click which pages I want it to go out on, both Facebook and Instagram. And I think they have other tools in here like Pinterest and Twitter and things like that as well. Makes my life a lot easier. But again, you type whatever you want. You want to add pictures. Just as an example, look how much money you raised. And then I can customize it for each network. So on the Instagram post, I can go ahead and add hashtags, or I can add them in the comments if I want. Yeah, I'll do that later. I can add locations if I want to. So that makes my life so much easier. And then I can add it to the queue, so it'll automatically pop it into a time slot that's coming up, or I can schedule it for a specific time. Again, specific day of the month, specific time. Unlike Facebook, that limits it to 3 months out or 2 months out. 2 months out. June is only 2 months away. Buffer doesn't really limit it. I could just keep going farther and farther out if I wanted to. This could be a good way to schedule appreciation posts on specific employees' birthdays, or you could set up a post that even you forget about, and then you can make yourself laugh 3 years down the road. Or you can do it up here on the what would you like to share, or you can go ahead and select specific slots. I have had Hootsuite or Buffer connected to my pages long enough that it knows the best times for me to post based on when my audience is around. And so that's why these are suggested. As you can see, these are slightly different times for pages because I have different audiences on all of them. So this is nice because it looks at my page and it goes, this is the best time for you to post. I can ignore that and still set it for whenever I want, but I like that it gives me the suggestion of when the best time to post is. Say with Instagram, these are the best times for you to post somewhere in this window. So that's Buffer. Or you can also schedule directly on Facebook, which I deeply appreciate. So those are some fun tools. Again, Hootsuite is on there because I've recommended them in the past. I left it on there mostly because I wanted to remind myself they are taking away the free Hootsuite accounts. So if I've recommended it in the past, I no longer recommend it. So here was where we were going to talk about insights. We can still look at them, and I'll go ahead and show that to you, but I don't want to spend too much time on it here in this workshop, because especially for the recording, insights are going away. So thank you, Heather. Again, you can catch the rest of this on YouTube if you'd like. So insights are going away. Facebook is taking them away, which deeply upsets me. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be any analytics of any sort, but the way they look now is going away. In fact, I don't know if we've got it on the page. Let me double check. Yes, leave. Goodness, my notifications keep popping up. So right now, if you go onto your page and you go into the sidebar and you go to insights right here, this will give you all of the data on your page. So this is who liked your page, what they're doing on it. Are they looking at your page? Are they clicking through to your website? If you're using stories, what's that reach? What is your responsiveness rate? So this is really good data, what posts are effective, what people are doing on them. So there's a lot of information in here. This is the overview we're looking down right now. And then it also ranks you compared to other pages that are similar to you. I beat them all. Ha, ha, You can also see more data on your followers. So how many do you have? What are they doing on your page? Again, where the followers happen, likes, how many likes do you have? Page likes. Actions on the page is really useful. It shows you who's clicking the website, who's calling you, who's clicking on the action button. I think I spend most of my time either on posts, which again tells me, one, what time of day is best to post and what day of the week. It's pretty consistent, but this window, again, this time and this time are the biggest peaks. And then which posts have been popular so that I can do more posts in that same vein. I can talk to what people are actually interested in. And then people is really nice because you can see, the overall gender of your fans, how old they are. Surprisingly, our largest demographic is 21%, 65 plus. Maybe that's not that surprising because that's pretty, Southwood is largely older population. And then it'll also show you where people are coming from. So I like all of this data. Unfortunately, if I go, Facebook has a business manager, so they'll show you how all of this works. No, I don't want that. Facebook for business. There we go. The insights page is going away. They are going to get rid of it because Facebook just has to change things constantly. I don't know where their article is. They keep writing new articles. Regardless, oh, there we go. Insights, maybe. So the insights is going away soon. They are replacing it with a business suite. And this is going to enable you to manage your ads in one place, manage your Facebook page and your Instagram account in one place. All of these things that I keep mentioning that you're going to be able to do. I'm actually going to show you guys this video in just a second. So it's a cool idea. It just gets a little frustrating when Facebook keeps changing things all the time. So the biggest thing I wanted to warn you is, nope, that's not helpful. I already clicked that. Because Facebook is taking away the Insights tab, if you want any of this data so that you can reference it again, it is going away June 30th, 2021 for YouTube. So if you want any of this data, make sure you download it before then. So if you actually go into like all of these pages, you can set the specific, order. Let me see. Where did you hide that? There used to be somewhere where I could download it. Maybe just an overview. There you go. So export the data. So you can go as far back as 28 days, but you can make sure if you want this data to use for whatever purpose, make sure you export it, record it, any of that before June 30th, because after June 30th, all of this is going away. There will be a new system in place, but it won't have this past data. So that is my warning to you. Make sure you download it. But for now, soon, when all of this goes away, they're going to introduce this new business suite. So I'm going to stop talking. I need to make sure. No, I'm not sharing sound. Ha ha ha. So I'm sharing sound now. I'm going to go ahead and play this page. It's like a minute. So the video ran really quickly. I can't control it. I apologize. I wish I could pause it and give it more time. But basically, a lot of these things I've been kind of running around the page, clicking on different things to show you guys. That is all eventually going to be accumulated into one tool. You can access that tool right now if you download the app onto a mobile device, either a phone or a tablet. Again, it's called the Facebook Business Suite. And so I do actually have it on my phone. I just downloaded it the other day so I could talk to you guys about it. Eventually, it is going to be available on the desktop as well. They are rolling that out. They do not know at what rate it is going. So, as you saw earlier, when I went to business.facebook.com, I got the current classical business manager. Eventually, when I get access to business insights, if I go to business.facebook.com, it'll automatically take me to the what do they call it again? The Facebook Business Suite. It'll take me to that once I have access. I don't right now. So unfortunately, I can't show it to you guys on screen share, but I did take some shots with my phone earlier. So I'll go look at those right now. So if you go into either the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, whatever your app downloading software is on your phone, and you search for Facebook Business Suite, it looks like this. It's this strange icon that looks nothing like Facebook. So I just wanted to assure you guys that this is the legitimate one. Go ahead and download it onto your phone, and then once you open it, you have to log into your Facebook, but you'll be able to see all of the pages you have and the Instagram pages that are connected with those Facebook pages. So it'll make your life a lot easier. And you can go ahead and publish to both Facebook and Instagram from one place. You can see all of the messages and comments you get from both sites in this one place, and you can respond to them. You can see all of your insights. This is this tab I went to here. So they have trends, content, audience. So you can see, overall what people are doing, how people are responding to your specific content, and then more information about your audience. And that's again, what time are they on? What's their location, and some very basic demographic information. All of that is in here. And you can actually see these are the date ranges they offer in that tool. It defaults to the last 28 days. You can set it to just yesterday, the last 7 days, this week, this month, last week, last month, or you can set up custom date ranges. So you could set it all the way back to the beginning of the year or back to the beginning of your account. So I do like these tools. I don't like that I have to do it on my mobile device right now, which is why this slide is titled Coming Soon-ish, because it is technically out right now. The Facebook Business Suite is out on mobile devices, and it is out for some pages, but it will be rolling out. So by this summer, everybody should have access to the Facebook Business Suite. So that is my warning on that. I wish I could show it to you more in depth, but it's hard to show off phones when we're doing a web conference like this, and I can't show it to you on my desktop right now. So a lot of these things I've been running around and scrambling and showing to you all class long are going to change again by this fall. So we're probably going to run this class again in the fall once all of those changes have rolled out and it is accurate and up to date. But I did my best to take screenshots so you guys could see those of what it looks like now. So this has been a lot. I feel like I've overwhelmed you guys. I know I've lost a lot of people as I've been talking. So thank you for those of you that have stuck around. I'm going to go through this quick recap really quick, and then I'll go ahead and stop the recording. You guys can feel free to type questions or go ahead and unmute yourselves at that time. You can talk to each other or me. It'll be your time. But as a quick recap, again, stop using social media just to sell at people, because no one goes online to be sold to. Social media is social. It's about connecting and communicating with other human beings. Always keep in mind what motivates and interests your audience. There are things you want to communicate, but there are things your audience needs from you. And if you're talking to them and not yourself, you can still get across what you need, but in a way they're actually going to listen to and interact with. So pay attention to what works, talk to your audience and see what they want. And leads really well into my next point, trial and error. Give stuff a try, see how well it works for you. It takes work to be so bad at social media that it'll go horribly for you. Overall, if you do something kind of dumb, people might laugh at you or they might not really respond to it, but it just shows that you're human. You can't know what's going to work for you until you try it and see. I have a lot of people come to my classes and they ask, what should I be posting? When should I be posting? And I can't tell you that because your business is so different than my business or any of my clients. So it's your unique audience and your unique business is going to respond differently to things. There are things I could tell you, absolutely never do this, and you could try it and it could work really well for you. There are no hard and fast rules in social media. It's figuring out what works best for you that you can reasonably stick with and that your audience responds to, and just kind of going with that. And don't be afraid to adjust it because things are changing constantly and you're going to need to as well. On that note, be creative. Again, don't do things just because you've always done it or it's how you think you should do it. Things change a lot on social media. The way people use it changes, but also the tool itself changes. So let yourself be creative and try new things and present information in different ways. Right now, video is the biggest thing. Try turning that camera on yourself and just talking for a little while. Show off, the new piece or service you have and put some funky music behind it. Give stuff a try and see what works. Make sure you customize your content to your audiences. Again, make sure you're not talking to yourself or what you think you should be talking about. Look at who your audience is, your customer base is, and make sure you're doing stuff that is appealing and interesting to them. Make sure you regularly take time to improve your Facebook skills. I myself took 3 Facebook classes last week so that I could make sure I was giving you the most up-to-date information. So you should be giving yourself time. If a class catches your interest, take it. Read an article, give stuff a try, do stuff to stay up to date and make sure you have the best information so that you can really make this tool work for you. And on that note, use all of your tools. Hopefully I've shown you today in this workshop that Facebook has a lot of really cool services and tools built into it that so many businesses barely touch because they just don't have the time to get into it. But if you use those tools, yes, it takes some time to set up, but once it's set up, you can do anything with it and it saves you a lot of time. So make sure you're using those tools. And again, lastly, find a way to have fun with it. Nobody wants to be stuck in the corner with the person who does not want to be at the party. So make sure that's not you. Find a way to have fun. So, any questions? Again, we're going to go ahead and stop the share here. So thank you for all those who are watching later on YouTube. And we're going to go ahead and hit